abolish qualified immunity. And many people might not know what that means. And so I just want to take 2 little seconds to explain to you what qualified immunity means. The powers that be created so that there's no justice on the streets because people aren't out there always recording every single moment. And also there's no justice in the courtrooms because of doctrines like qualified immunity, which protect people, officers who do these crimes. And so I just want to explain to you what the doctrine is because it's really important, and right now is a critical time in our country where the momentum is focused on this issue. Right now, the Supreme Court is considering a slate of cases on the doctrine of qualified immunity. And the way it is it's saying that if an officer does something that violates your civil rights, that person is not liable unless there's clearly established law that suggests that his activity is unconstitutional. Okay? I know that it's legalese and it doesn't sort of connect, but I encourage you that since you're out here and since you care about the issue, go home and research it, read about it, and understand that what that means is that it's really, really hard for people to be held accountable for what the wrongs that they do. If someone didn't do it before in the very same way, guess what? That person might be covered by the banner of immunity, qualified immunity. And I also just want to say that the Supreme Court is considering these cases right now and may overhaul the precedent, may limit it, they may do nothing at all. But guess what? Like our representative said, the elected officials speak for us, okay? We put them up there. So in Congress right now, we have Representative Ayanna Pressley and Representative Justin Amash who have brought bills to overturn qualified immunity in our congressional session right now. So I don't know who your representative is for this district, but if you're feeling like this is too big of an issue, I don't know what to do, who do I call, who would I talk to? The first thing you can do is call Rosa DeLauro. The first thing you can do is call the office of Jim Hunt. Call your representatives, people who are in Congress right now considering these bills. If you feel like your voice is small, it's not. Your voice matters and every call makes a difference. And every vote makes a difference. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming out, and I just encourage you to press on with this.
We the people, in order to form a more perfect union. 221 years ago, in a hall that still stands across the street, a group of men gathered and with these simple words launched America's improbable experiment in democracy. Farmers and scholars, statesmen and patriots who had traveled across the ocean to escape tyranny and persecution finally made real their Declaration of Independence at a Philadelphia convention that lasted through the spring of 1787. The document they produced was eventually signed, but ultimately unfinished. It was stained by this nation's original sin of slavery, a question that divided the colonies and brought the convention to a stalemate until the founders chose to allow the slave trade to continue for at least 20 more years and to leave any final resolution to future generations. Of course, the answer to the slavery question was already embedded within our Constitution, a Constitution that had at its very core the ideal of equal citizenship under the law, a Constitution that promised its people liberty and justice, and a union that could be and should be perfected over time. And yet words on a parchment would not be enough to deliver slaves from bondage, and provide men and women of every color and creed their full rights and obligations as citizens of the United States. What would be needed were Americans in successive generations who were willing to do their part through protests and struggles on the streets and in the courts, through a civil war and civil disobedience, and always at great risk, to narrow that gap between the promise of our ideals and the reality of their time. To reclaim the American dream and reaffirm that fundamental truth that out of many we are one, that while we breathe, we hope, and where we are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can. Thank you. God bless you. And may God bless the United States of America.